All right, and we're back, and we've got 3 more books to show you guys.
3 more. 3 more times I scratched that itch as a writer. After producing Crafting Pagan Rituals, I was very happy to be able to tell people that I had gotten all of the information from the spell of making boiled down in a less wordy way with better writing. And, it went for much less than $120. But by then, I also found out that Amazon had found this cache of my spell of making books so that it was back down to a reasonable price again. However, turning out Crafting Pagan Rituals was a labor of love, because after all, this is the writing event that actually made me something other than writing a short article for this or that magazine. Once I finished Crafting Pagan Rituals, something had been rattling around my brain for years. And it was a question just like what started the Ritual Construction series of writings. And that was, instead of saying, how do you make a ritual, every pagan learns about the 4 elements, the 4 basic elements, which of course are not at all like elements as we learned it in chemistry class. But they are a way of pigeonholing the universe.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, this set of energies and changes and so forth can be kind of lumped together loosely, and you can associate things within them, and their relationship to this clump of energies and events and so forth is a certain way, and then you add this in, and you get that in, and pretty soon everything gets confused. But all of them together produce the 5th element of spirit.
Yes.
Okay, but what is spirit? Oh. Well, that's what you get when you clump all these together. No. What is spirit? Oh. This went on for a long time until I said, I'm going to find out for my own what spirit is. Getting old enough in this and steeped enough in this, I really should know the answer to this, It took a long time for me to get a breakthrough on the answer. I thought that I had an answer when I came up with a synonym for spirit that seemed to fit almost everything that I was thinking about, and that was essence. Now, that works most of the time.
Yeah.
Spirit equals essence. It doesn't work all of the time, and it doesn't tell me what I need to know. And so I better figure out the questions about what I need to know. I just shifted the conversation from finding answers to looking for questions.
Oh.
Now, what happens when you ask a question? You quest. And as we all know, when you're on a quest, you have many things to do.
Yes.
Well, I did many things on my quest. I happened to, a long time ago, come to the conclusion that questions are far more valuable than answers any day. After all, answers tend to make you lazy. They tend to make you sit down and shut up.
You just
instead
look
of
up
going out
answers in
and
Google.
questing.
Yeah.
Okay. questioning for information, questioning for experience, questioning for understanding. So I value good questions.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you formulate good questions is you start out with dumb questions. That's why there's no dumb questions,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because they're all dumb in retrospect, okay? But the more questions you ask and the more answers you find to those questions, the better questions you can ask the next time. So, what questions did I need to ask about spirit? What is it? How do I recognize it? What is it for? Once I find it, what can I do with it? Finding out this term essence was very valuable to me. It answered one of my questions, and that is, why, when you go to any church or synagogue or temple or what have you, go to any religion's place of meeting, when you get a big enough number of people, you will find the old folks are the ones that are most devoted to it. And I thought, well, that makes sense. They're closer to their time of death. But that isn't the reason at all. I'm 71, you know. I'm a lot closer to my time of death than I was at, say, 30. But I'm still not satisfied with a lot of the answers that I get. However, I'm much happier with a lot of the questions I've been able to formulate. And I'm much more concerned with how much time I've got left. Well, it's not nearly as much as when I was 30. So I should be concerned with being efficient.
That's a good word for it, yes.
Efficient with my time, efficient with my energy. How am I going to get efficient if I have to deal with all of this outer fluff that so much of the world really is? Okay? When you look at me, what do you see? You see outer fluff. And inside of it is a little less fluffy.
Yeah.
But it's still not me. This is flesh and blood. This is cloth. It's still not me. What is the essence of me? What is my spirit? I'm interested in knowing my spirit because that's the part that gets the experience in this universe. In this incarnation, I am experiencing a lot of things. I experience my body. I experience my clothes. I experience this room. I experience the traffic out there when I'm in my car. The essence of my experience is called spirit.
Oh.
Why do I have a spirit? Well, everything has a spirit. It's what defines the thing. Oops, stop the presses. Wait a minute. What did I just say? It defines the thing? That's close. I won't take you through the whole mental gymnastics that I needed to go through on this because you just laugh. And as well you should. The fact is, it does not really define what a thing is. It creates it. Spirit is the template for existence of a thing. I am a spirit. My wife is a spirit. Together, we are also a spirit. We've argued enough. Now we work together. We are very often a singular spirit. Okay? And we've learned to work our spirits together as a unit because we've worked as priest and priestess to one another for years. Better than half our lives. So having a spirit is to say you have the template of information necessary to make you, or to make whatever. The spirit of this cane, spirit of this hunk of printed matter here, spirit of this chair, spirit of this rug. Everything has a spirit, because if it exists in this universe, it has a spirit. Things can get lumped together. Spirit of a party. The spirit of this document. Spirit of St. Louis. All of those parts working together to fly Lindbergh across the Atlantic. The idea that spirits can get lumped together and form an even larger spirit is an interesting one. It takes you through all kinds of questions. Pretty soon you start in saying, how big does this spirit go? If it has existence, it has spirit. Because spirits are what make things exist. They are the blueprints. How big can it go?
You can see the earth as a spirit itself.
You can see the earth as a spirit. Heck, you can see the entire universe as a spirit. Maybe there's more universes. Maybe there is, a grand, super, uber, gigantic, enormous, infinite, great spirit. I don't want to steal from, the old TV programs or what have you, but when I hear great spirit, my mind says, oh, they're talking about deity. Yes. And ultimately, great spirit incorporates all the spirits of everything else. So, in other words, I'm part of the Great Spirit. You're part of the Great Spirit. This is part of the Great Spirit. This is part of the Great Spirit. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, what does that mean for us? That means that we are each connected to everything else through the Great Spirit or deity or God or goddess or what have you. Ralph. Okay? I don't care what you call it. What we're talking about is the same thing, no matter how we label it. It's the same spirit. Now, next jump in reasoning. What causes us to like one thing versus another? What do we find attractive and what do we find repulsive? Obviously, if everything has a spirit, then even dog poop has a spirit. I don't feel particularly attracted towards that. I don't know about you, but I just, not particularly attracted towards dog poop. That's just the way I'm constructed. Well, not everything can build the spirit of St. Louis. You don't have every part in the world coming together and building that one airplane. Not all things would work very well for it.
Yeah.
Okay. You tried to insert your popcorn machine where the motor ought to be. Not going to work right. Hate to break that idea to you, but that's the way it works. All right. Then what causes us to find something attractive? Well, just the most obvious and cursory part of it says we find beautiful things attractive to us. We find beauty in that. We don't find beauty in the dog poop, but we find beauty in machines like Spirit of St. Louis. We find beauty in other people. We find beauty in our pets. We find beauty here, beauty there. What is beauty? Well, that's in the eye of the beholder. Wait a minute, stop the presses. Okay. So you're saying what's beautiful to me may not be beautiful to the next spirit walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have an instant rapport with some people and you don't with others? Don't know. Would you say they're beautiful? Well, maybe not physically.
Mm-hmm.
However, you find them attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, they are beautiful. Okay. Many discussions down the road. Beauty is the radiation that spirit exudes. When we perceive beauty, we are able to see the radiation as something that benefits us. This whole idea of we're put on this plane in order to live out certain lessons, maybe that's the reason for it. Whatever it is beauty for us defines what we can most reasonably work with, exist with. What we find beautiful, maybe the person next to us doesn't. And maybe we find them beautiful at the same time that they don't find what we find as beautiful. All these ideas came together, and after years of trying to rattle around with that question, what is spirit, I started writing it down. And after a while, it got to the point where I was able to explain it all in a rather almost fictional way. I create these scenarios which are just fantasy in order to illustrate the concepts that I'm trying to relate to the reader. But that's where this book came from. Be All. And the fine print says the Book of Spirit. And it is written by Blacksun and Shadowhawk. And the reason why I put my wife's name on this, even though she didn't do any of the actual writing of it, is she was my constant sounding board. She was my constant teacher. And she put up with me and fed me. And so I published that. Then I said, I'm tired. I don't want to write anymore. Let's give it a break. I've turned out these 3 books. 4 if you want to, 4 books. 5 if you want to count The Spell of Making. 6 if you want to count 3 times around the circle. Anyway, I've written all these things. I'm tired of writing. I don't want to write. Well, I wasn't tired of writing. I was just tired of trying to organize my thinking around this, the subject of spirit, which had frankly bothered me for years about trying to answer the question, what is it? But then it came down to these other questions. Learn what spirit is and why it's important in our lives. Discover how spirit boldly displays itself and how we can find more of it every day. Become the master of your life with the aid of spirit. And be all. And I'm not going to give you the story as to what be all relates to. You have to read the book. I will give you a hint. It's something that was whispered in my ear upon the occasion of my first initiation into the craft. More importantly, it was also something that drove me crazy for years. So I sat down and I said, that's it, I'm done writing it. And the week after that, I said, I want to write another book with the characters from the Haunted Scrolls. But I don't want it to be about the Haunted Scrolls. But I love the characters. These are neat people, you know? And some of them were people that I cobbled together from associations. And some were just people that I wanted to meet. Probably all of them somewhere along the line were people that were inside of me in one way or another. So I decided that I was going to write about something that I had mentioned in one passage, just one sentence. But I had mentioned it rather early on in the Haunted Scrolls. And it related to how the good witches and the homicide detective had originally met. It was over a case called the Dead Man's Hand. And which I had no idea what that referred to when I wrote it. It was just something plucked out of the ether. But then I wrote The Dead Man's Hand, which is a prequel, obviously, to the Haunted Scrolls because they mentioned it in the Haunted Scrolls, so it had to have happened before. So I made it a book about how all these people got together and met one another and what happened in order to precipitate that. Don't ever write a prequel. This is absolute torture because you start writing la 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 la, and then they did this. No, they can't do that because in the Haunted Scrolls you said this. All right, take that all back, throw that in the garbage can. And no, I can't do that because I said that. You have to justify everything that you had set up as a presumption in the other book. And if you can't justify it, you have to be able to work around it. Writing a prequel is mind-bending. And when I got done writing that, I said, boy, am I glad that's done. I wonder what I can do now. I've got to write. I got to write. I got to write. I got to write. It's a disease. I was actually involved in some other stuff. And I decided, I've got all these files that I've written, articles I've written and so forth over the years. And some of them people actually ask me to repeat every once in a while in a newsletter or what have you. And so why don't I pick and choose through all those dozens and dozens of files that I've written over the years and see if I can't cobble together something that might be of interest, at least to me. And so what I did was I put together a book of 3- and 4-page articles that I had written. Most of them, aren't much longer than that. Some of them are shorter. And I put that together in a book called Chats from a Comfy Chair. Now, if anybody wonders why a comfy chair, then they are not a fan of Monty Python, and they don't get the joke unless you show them that episode. But if you are a fan of Monty Python, you will get the joke behind Chats from a Comfy Chair.
I don't think I caught that episode. I'll have to watch it.
Oh, nobody suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
I know that one.
Then you must review it because that is where the comfy chair comes from.
Oh, okay, definitely.
You see, there are lessons I can teach you, my dear. But that is this book right here, Chats from a Comfy Chair. And that's the latest one that I've turned out. I'm working on another one, which is, once again, the Witches of Emerald City. If your viewers are not familiar with Seattle, they don't know sometimes that Seattle has the nickname of the Emerald City.
It's very green here.
It's very green. And there's a good reason for calling it the Emerald City, because just everywhere it's green.
Mm-hmm.
But the Witches of the Emerald City are going through another adventure.
All right.
And I can't tell you how it ends because I don't know. But it's at least taking care of that itch.
The itch, yes.
So that's my my 6 books that I have published so far, and had a wonderful time doing it, writing them. In the meantime, I just try to mosey along and learn every day
Oh, yeah.
something new.
You never stop learning.
No, it's a disease too.
Well, all these books are available on Amazon, and at the time we're filming this video, it is just a month before Yule. So if you want to buy a Yule gift for one of your coven members or Wiccan friends, or somebody you want to teach something about Wicca to, which the Once and Future Witch and the Haunted Scrolls, you said were perfect for that.
Yep, and Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah, they're perfect for that. If somebody likes to read fiction and they want to learn more about Wicca, you can buy them those books. Or you can just buy them for yourself and be a little selfish. But anywho, if it's not Yule, go ahead and buy them anyway. You don't need an excuse to buy a good book. Now, until next time, blessed be